Hello, we're here with Chief Charlie Beck regarding the Chief's message for the month of August 2015. And sir, recently you initiated a training program throughout the department regarding the preservation of life and the public building trust. Can you give us an overview of that program?
Of course, Jack, and by the time folks see this, many of them will have been through the training and they'll know exactly what it's about. You know, there's a national discussion right now about public trust and policing, about police use of force. You know, much of that is due to incidents that occurred far away from here, but some of it is about what has happened here at home. And we need to have discussions with all of our personnel about that, not only to remind everybody that preservation of life, the saving of life, is the ultimate thing that we do. You know, it is the most important thing that we do, and we always have to remember that. And you know, that life is not only our own, which of course is especially important to me, but it's making sure that the public is safe too. And then the next part of that is building public trust. You know, there is nothing more important in policing than public trust. There is no way that 10,000 Los Angeles police officers, no matter how good they are, and they are the best in the world, can police a city the size of Los Angeles without the trust and willing cooperation of the vast majority of the public. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to agree with everything that you do, but they have to have faith in you, the faith in you that you're fair and faith in you that you're effective.
It certainly doesn't remind everybody not only their academy experience, but it's probably a good thing to remind everybody of actually why we do our job.
Well, of course. You know, we just had a graduation last Friday, and as I walked the ranks of the graduates, our newest police officers, I asked every one of them, so why do you wear that badge? Why do you want to wear that badge? And they all gave me an answer. And their answers were different, just like the answers for everybody watching this video will be different. But what I wanted them to do was put it in words quickly, whether it's, you know, because this is a great department with a great tradition, I want to be part of it, whether it's because I want to make a difference, whether it's because you know, I think that we need to protect people from folks that do evil. Whatever the reason is, write it down. And I told them all to write it down. And keep that with you for your career. Because this job changes all of us. I'm not the same person I was 40 years ago when I started. And so what you always want to do, though, is go back to what that core thing was that attracted you to law enforcement. And sometimes a good way to do that is to remind yourself, and writing it down is a good way.
We're in a national conversation about policing in America. I mean, where are we in this transformation phase right now?
Well, I think that the information age, the constant presence of video, the constant presence of social media has changed the way people perceive policing. You know, policing has always been a rough business, you know, and there are always going to be incidents that occur that involve uses of force and that may involve deadly uses of force. But now they're coming to the public's living room because so this is a different discussion that we have to have. So what I ask everybody to do is this, is we always understand why we do things. You know, we try to explain why officers are cautious, why they use various tactics and things like that. So we're always asking the public, understand things from our point of view. So what I'm asking everybody to do is, if we expect that, and we do, and we should, because you know it's a tough job, and people have to understand that. But look at things from other people's point of view yourself. You know, have some empathy for that kid that was raised in a rough neighborhood, where the influence of gangs was so prevalent that he or she may have been afraid not to be involved. You know, recognize when you talk to a mother that's had her kids sleep in a bathtub because she heard gunshots. You know, that's a different reality than most of us, not all of us, because we come from the community too, than most of us have experienced. So have some empathy with those folks. Now, that doesn't mean that you absolve them of any wrongdoing or that you don't enforce the law, but just recognize, you know, when we ask people to see things through our eyes, let's try to do a little bit of that ourselves.
Does that technology that you're talking about, does that force us or guide us into some type of change?
Well, I think it's going to be a big part of the discussion about policing, and it is just beginning. You know, as this continues and as more and more interactions are filmed and are watched by the public, and that instant communication makes something that happens in Ferguson, Missouri, a relative conversation in Los Angeles, California, I think we are going to see expectations change. And I think we're going to see officers come to recognize that a lot of what we do requires significant explanation. And that's okay. You know, everything that we do should be able to be explained. But we need to do that. You know, we need to have that conversation. When you have an enforcement contact, it's not over until you do an explanation. And as I said, they may accept it, they may not. It's not about them, it's about you.
When you talk about transparency, when you're talking about all this technology, you can't help but being transparent when something is caught on a personal camera, for example.
Well, of course, you know, and you know, a lot of times we use the word transparency, but of course, policing is not completely transparent. I mean, there are many things that we can't share with the public because they're part of a criminal case, or they're part of a personnel issue, or things like that. But what we have to be is we have to be open about what we do, and we have to be able to explain what we do and give a good rationale for why we behave as we do.
That doesn't just go for the chief of police, that goes for that guy, that P2 in the car as well.
Well, remember, you know, much of the impression of the Los Angeles Police Department could be about past, could be about the chief, but most of it is about that last contact that the public had with you. The last time you stopped somebody, the last time you went to someone's house and took a crime report, the last time you made an enforcement stop. That's the concrete opinion of that individual about this entire organization.
Good segue going into community policing. First Tuesday of August 4th, 2015, National Night Out. Your feelings about that event?
You know, National Night Out, you know, what a great time to celebrate the partnership that we have with the various communities in Los Angeles. You know, the opening of the police stations to the public, I mean, nothing says it better than that, you know. And it's part of a national experience, you know, and I think it's a very important thing for all of us to be involved in, something I believe in. And, you know, it shows a relationship. And you know, relationship-based policing is something that I value. You know, a relationship requires communications both ways, requires trust both ways, you know, and that's what I want to establish with the public.
This isn't actually in August, but it's actually the first day of October. We're looking at the Medal of Valor and Purple Heart Awards, and your feelings on that event?
You know, of course, the Medal of Valor and the Purple Heart Awards, you know, that is the epitome of what we do. You know, I am always, you know, feel strong emotions about the heroic actions of members of the Los Angeles Police Department and the willingness to put themselves in harm's way for many times people they don't know. And, you know, it is the absolute best of policing, but even more than that, it's the best of humanity.
So here we are in August. We've got a lot of events going on, and you know what? We have a film crew here with us today, and just like with any filming, we have a wrap, and we have a wrap party, and we're going to have pizza and ice cream, and oh, wait a minute, we got a fitness challenge. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, we do have a fitness challenge, so I don't necessarily have to skip it, but you do. You know, the fitness challenge, it is a great way to keep us all on track, right? You know, policing. One of the problems with policing is your schedule varies all the time. You know, many of us work off hours. You know, and it's hard to stay in shape unless you have a regimen. And so this is a little incentive from you know, our partners at LAPRA to do better about taking care of ourselves. And you know, and I want you to take care of yourselves. You know, it's a tough job, and I need you to be 100% to do it. And if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be.
Thanks, boss.
Thank you, Jack. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a great summer. So, Jack, this is one of the original saddles made for the mounted platoon, I believe in the early 70s. And as you can see here, it's got LAPD stamped on the side. And it was made at a saddlery in Hollenbeck Division, which no longer exists. And this is a picture that was in People magazine. The writers and producers for Blue Bloods saw that article in People magazine after I was appointed and came up with the storyline. The LAPD looks at policing the same, just the vehicle. Like air support always says, just the vehicle has changed. And the horses are the same way. We expect them to get on and off these horses just like you can get in and out of that black and white all day long. And if you got that big 17-hand draft horse, you aren't getting off of it. so it's very, very different. And our mounted unit is very active in its enforcement, and they are unique, I think, in America.